Un, dos, tres.
Oh my God! That's just too dirty!
This shit's fire.
This is a fucking banger.
Ladies and gentlemen, cats, snakes, dogs, chicken, elderly people, workers and twerkers.
Turn it up!
I don't give a fuck. It's the Ruckus. What the fuck you expect?
I body slapped my wife, my nigga.
Gonna start our conversation off with the election. I want to know from you guys. You guys go ahead and do it on your time. Who's winning the election, and what are we asking of these candidates when they win and if they win?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
That's hard.
Is it a Trump election in a landslide? Is it a
right now?
Nah,
right
man,
now,
you
with
guys
the
go
lead-
ahead.
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, right now, from the stuff that I've been seeing, is Biden has the lead. But you know, these polls could be very misleading, especially when they want to work to that person's favor. You know, it's not over until it's over. There's a lot of things that we want and need from both candidates. I know we're all going for Biden, but the issue with them, they haven't really ran on anything for us to vote for. You know, it's like we're voting out of desperation. We're not even voting because we even like the person. We're voting him because we don't like Trump. And they haven't done their due diligence to do right by us to say, like, what are we asking for? If you really think about it, Biden nor Kamala hasn't really hit none of the, I hate saying this word, but the POC media network. But outside of the Breakfast Club, they really haven't gone nowhere. I mean, I think.
But do they need to? Do they need to go?
Yes.
I mean, because of
That's the thing that
You think
Democrats
so?
have, man. They feel like they have that vote secured. That was the problem last election too.
They had a sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they fucked up.
exactly, and that's what caused.
That's the issue right now. That's why I can't
And to
tell
an
you
extent,
for
it sucks that
sure.
they're right.
Yeah. That's why I think it's so hard to answer that question. Who's gonna win? Because you got so many sneaky voters out there
Who's gonna win, bro?
who are definitely gonna vote for Trump.
Obviously, I want Biden to win. Obviously, I want Biden to win. But we all know Trump is winning.
Is it obvious?
Let's not
We don't know that, actually.
bro.
Hold on, let me ask you guys a
let
really
me
quick
be
question because
optimistic.
I want.
Damn it.
Yeah, you want to be honest, but I want to go back to
I'd
what
rather
was
be
said.
surprised with Biden winning. I'd rather.
Do you actually think that the Democrats have the Black and Latino vote secured, or is that just because we've always voted in that way? We think that that's what's going to happen. Because I feel like there's a lot of Black folk voting different now.
They have it secured, but not to the numbers they're going to expect.
I really hope that the Latinos for Trump is like a super loud minority. Like, I hope it's just
That
like
happens to be in
just
Florida,
super
which fucks
fucking
us over.
loud minority. But
Which happens to be in Florida.
But
Yes.
what
Just
sucks is that every
so-
time I turn around and I open my
Damn
fucking
Cubans.
phone, there's another one, and then another one, and I'm like, oh fuck, this shit is not
They're like
looking
minions,
good.
and they keep reproducing.
Pennsylvania too.
Yeah,
Kelvin over
PA.
there.
Here in Jersey too, bunch of Dominicans in New York.
I mean, there's
You
a
can't
bunch
tell them
of-
shit.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What do you think about? So that's a really interesting fact. What do you think is making Black folk and Latino folks so openly voting for someone who doesn't have their best interest in mind? Biden or Trump, but specifically Trump has gone out of his way to not fake his racism. So why is it that Latinos, Cuban Americans, Dominican Americans, and Black Americans are so willing to vote for that man who doesn't really care about them? That's what I'm trying to answer.
I'm not qualified to answer that question. I'm gonna pass that on.
Here's a trick question, and I want everybody to answer this question. As much as we're saying that Trump doesn't care for us, let's be honest. Do you think really Biden cares for us like that?
Hell no.
That's yeah.
So what's the difference? One is loud and one is quiet with it.
I mean, the difference is there's a dude that's running on the racist tropes. I mean, and jumping on that Southern strategy, right?
Yeah.
And when you have somebody like that, it's just it's easy to dismiss them, right? Like, you ain't gonna trick me.
Yeah, Mike.
Like, I vote for you, and then you're gonna kick my mom out of the country. I'm like, hey, but what happened? I'm like, nigga, kicked you out, son.
Yeah. So what? So my question there, like, what happened when somebody act like they fake care, and then in the end they still end up kicking your mom's out of the?
Dude, I prefer that, my nigga. I prefer I have a shot, nigga. Yeah, my nigga. Like this thing. Yeah.
You be like Obama?
Just like Obama, nigga. Fake it. Fake it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you know what it is. So here's
Lou, real quick on what Mike said. It's not so much about who actually shows that they care about us, because it doesn't matter. Let's be realistic. None of them give a fuck about us. But which one is actively attacking us?
Right.
That's where the difference. That's what matters. None of them care about us. Politicians don't give a fuck about anybody.
True.
I mean, hold on. That's an oversimplification. I mean, I don't think individual politicians care about us, like, personally. But politics is about like making the shit run, like society run. So they gotta be able to set up a system where you can eat, right? So they can eat, right? If we ain't eating, they're eventually that shit's gonna crumble down, right? I mean, it's the same thing with healthcare and shit, like, right? It isn't about like being nice to your grandma that's sick. It's about like if too many people are sick, it's not a healthy society.
That's an interesting point right there. The fact that this government seems so dysfunctional now. It's like, has it been running for the past 4 years? Has anything really changed for us? Is anything beneficial for anybody?
That's why it's important to understand systems, because systems sometimes, like cars, they keep running even when certain pieces aren't really functioning, and it's gonna put strains on different parts of the system.
Yeah, I mean, we got more money back in taxes for sure with Trump.
Yeah,
that's true.
Everybody got more money back. I mean,
but you had to spend that money in other places where public services
got cut,
were absent then. So that's
right.
But for how much?
But that's a give or take. It's a give or take.
Also, for how much longer?
Right.
Excuse me?
For how much longer? Because it's only a set period of time until 2024, I believe it is, before it starts climbing back up again.
It's not sustainable in the long term because of the. You know, it's basically like in accounting, credits and debits.
Yeah.
Like how much are you debiting? How much are you crediting?
Well, one, it's not sustainable. Two is that it was written in the law to go up after 2024 anyway.
Yeah,
for us, not for the rich.
Let me ask you guys a question. Just going back to this idea of they don't care about us, because it's that sentiment is really important, because I think a lot of people are just disenfranchised with politics and they've given up. So a lot of people just like they don't care. And Mike makes the point, well, they both don't care about us. Why are you choosing one or the other? What are you guys thinking about those politicians who pretend to care? Do you think that pretending to care is beneficial in the fact that we might get something from them, as opposed to, like someone said earlier, at least they're not attacking us? Or do you think that both of those ideas, I might get some crumbs from this guy and this guy is attacking us, they're both actually the same problem that we have to deal with? What do you guys think about that?
I think what it is is that people are like, all right, I know he's attacking me directly, but I feel like this other guy isn't telling me exactly what he's gonna do to me. I feel like people feel like they can read Trump because they feel like he's being direct, and since Biden is a career politician, we're not supposed to trust him because we can't trust politicians. And that's kind of like the running, it's like the running paradox of this whole shit.
Right. And I mean, if Trump showed up at your company to run that shit, you wouldn't be happy, right? Like we don't see this nigga like running shit well, right? So it isn't about like, is he deporting people, Obama? No, it's that he's not a good administrator at the shit that he does, right? He's an entertainer, and he's made his money on entertainment, right?
And he's a fucking thief because he doesn't pay his contractors.
Right. And then he settles out of court for a lot cheaper than what it would have been.
He's the type of manager, that tries to boost morale by having a pizza party. That's what it is.
By celebrating everybody's birthday at the end of the month, and you're supposed to be happy.
For my people that were in the military, mandatory fun days.
Yeah, man. But if he were a better administrator, if he had administrated the COVID, at least you guys have pizza. But if he had done better with the COVID, with the pandemic, and he was still as racist as he was, would you guys be thinking differently about him? Because we're going into a second shutdown right now. We're on the verge of a second shutdown because we haven't had any administration. Had he done a better job, but he was still as racist as he was, would you guys be voting for him the second time around?
So real quick, this is not a shutdown in the sense of a government shutdown because the funding was approved, but it's a shutdown in as far as society. So just to make the distinction, as far as how I would see him, to be honest, no. But I've had my opinion of Trump for over 20 years, so what I'm saying, it's not. I don't see him any differently. I just think he's acting on the impulses that he's had, that he's hidden well in the past. You know what I'm saying? But with everything going on now, the man is just like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. He's playing to the base, but Trump is more like a amoral kind of character.
Yeah,
right. I don't think he's like legit racist. I think he's just playing the base, like you said.
Yeah.
And even if he had handled this whole situation,
what was that, Mike?
Go ahead, Mike.
Using the people that he needs to get up to where he needs to be at.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
He was funding the Democratic Party for almost all his life.
Yeah.
He was fucking with
This is true. This is true.
Especially the players.
He quit in '99. Like, he left the Democratic Party, and then everybody's like, "Oh shit, why is he running under this Liberty Party or whatever?" And that was like his test run. He was just trying, testing the waters.
But okay, so then what's really interesting then about Trump is like was said is that how he's using people to get to where he is, and what he's actually done very well. Now we can't disagree is that I've said this before. He's like a ringleader, and he's used the entertainment world to his advantage. And so Mike earlier posted a picture of Trump and Lil Wayne, and now he's the latest rap star. So we have Ice Cube, we have 50 Cent making the comments, and now we have Lil Wayne, the latest rap star, to be taking pictures with Trump. What do you guys think about that? Him using media and specifically hip hop, to better his image.
A means to an end.
And I'm gonna say something about that. I kept saying this over and over again. It's like that silent majority that didn't have that voice talking. You know what I mean? People is not as angry as they were 4 years ago because they see things a little bit different. All you need a little bit of convincing and persuasion, you know what I mean, to try to see things a different point of view. Because people not. If you meet a logical person, it's like, look, I don't fuck with Trump, but I get it. You know what I mean? If you're a rapper, you're a millionaire, it shouldn't be a surprise you're gonna vote for him because your tax bracket be lower. You know what I mean? So that's why when 50 blew up the way he did and said he's Trump, you gotta understand where he's coming from with him.
Well, it makes sense. Now they're millionaires. They're gonna vote for Trump. Do you think that the tax breaks that they're gonna get is enough to justify them turning their back on a community who basically made them millionaires?
Right. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily dismiss them. I mean, I dismiss them because of the Trump thing, but I wouldn't dismiss them for voting Republican for those reasons. Because I mean, my follow-up question to them would be like, all right, and then the money that you are saving from doing this, what are you doing with it for the hood? So true. I understand like why you don't want the government to take your money.
You need a fucking
but
bond.
I also understand what you're gonna do with it, right? Like you have some type of responsibility to do something with that money that the government can't do. And that's my question to them, right? That's what I want to know. So I wouldn't dismiss them because they want to pay less taxes. We all want to do that shit.
So, KC, let me ask you a question.
What's the question?
Okay, so the question was, are you looking at these artists differently? So they make a choice to vote for Trump because of the tax exemptions that they're going to get. They're making more money. But do you forgive them for the fact that they turned their back on the community that basically made them millionaires? Is that something that you turn your back on them? You don't want to fuck with Lil Wayne anymore? Not because he's voting for Trump?
No, because here's the thing. Like, the older I get, the less impressed I am by celebrities and rappers and sports and actors. Like, the older I get, I'm just annoyed with Hollywood. They're all fucking idiots. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stop as Americans. This is the one thing I get from outside of that over here. They always ask us, why are we obsessed with like celebrity opinion? Main job is to entertain us. I understand they have influence, but their word shouldn't be golden. You know what I mean? Why the fuck don't want to see Cardi B having an interview with Joe Biden?
That's true.
Why the
I think
fuck
it's interesting, man. I need to see what the Bronx perspective gets out of him, man.
And why?
Yo, is KC? Are you still here?
Why is it with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Why is it with us when we want to deal with politics, they got to go to like a rap or whatever it could be? Like we don't have no fucking articulate motherfuckers in the back of me that could go speak.
They want to feel
What
hip.
you mean? You got Kanye, but
They
nobody
want
else
to feel
feels.
hip, man. This is the TikTok era, bro.
Kanye burned himself. I don't think anybody's really fucking with Kanye after these 40
I really tried to watch that Joe Rogan interview with him, man, but I got like maybe like 30 minutes in, and I'm like, all right.
What'd you think of that, by the way? What'd you think of that?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like he sounds real fucking crazy to me. Anybody who's running around just telling God told me, and I'm like, oh man. All right.
We had a whole fucking president that put us into fucking Iraq and Afghanistan, saying that God told him in a fucking dream.
Yep.
This is true.
Also, they choked on the pretzel, so there.
And that's how we ended up in Iraq.
Bush choked on the pretzel.
Yeah, Bush, man, he choked on a lot of things.
Choked on
I like Kanye, though, man.
Wait, hold on, Cracker. You like his music though?
Right. I mean, go ahead.
No, but do you separate the music from the politics though? Are you able? Because you know that we were talking about this before. We were talking about R. Kelly, and we were listening to him on YouTube during the conversation. And you said, "Fuck, I feel bad. I'm listening to him. There goes 50 cents towards his child pedophilia case."
Right.
Do you separate the man from the politics?
I mean, I think the thing with R. Kelly and Cosby and them is that they're psychotic, right? They're antisocial, right? They're like serial killers, right? They're systematic in what they do, and I mean, they're serial rapists, right? That's very different from like a Kanye West, man, who's. The dude's never been arrested. Like he's not psychotic. Like in terms of hurting people, right? He just fucking nuts, and I think he's always kind of been like that. With the interview, the Joe Rogan interview, I was really surprised though how clear-headed he was in the sense that he wasn't screaming or nothing like that. He wasn't like getting
drugs.
too hyped. Is that what it is? You think?
He said that in the when they started the conversation, they're talking about that, like how much meds he was on this show.
But he's not on that no more though.
No, not anymore.
But like whenever he was on Sway, whenever he was,
he was
that was part of his thing, right? That was part of his thing to get loud. And then with Joe, I mean, I don't know if he calmed him down or whatever. You know, Joe has this ability to kind of disarm you and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the fact you could probably break your arm.
You brought up an interesting question. Every time Kanye has always gone off the rocker, it's always been with black media. So when he first went really crazy, and I hate to use the word, but when he did that TMZ interview when he said that black people deserved slavery.
No,
he didn't say that.
He said slavery was a choice.
Slavery was a choice. My fault. Slavery was a choice.
He explains that in the Joe Rogan interview. They took it out of context. What he's saying is your mentality, like mentally, you're enslaved today. If you're enslaved today, it's by choice. That's what he said in Joe Rogan. But that's not what it came out of.
But you have to be really careful when you make that argument because he's
an idiot.
You can't do that, man. A lot of people lost their fucking lives to gain their freedom, and saying shit like that.
What he's talking about,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because mad people lost their fucking lives, and even when they had to actually fight for it, when the war happened, they had to fucking fight for it. A lot of people lost their lives for that shit. So it's not. I don't think that wasn't even close to. You can't explain that shit. Do you notice the fact that a lot of these blow-ups that Kanye has had has always been directed at black media, and now he goes on a Joe Rogan interview and he's okay. Like, what does that tell you about where Kanye's at?
But I mean, TMZ is not a black media, though.
Yeah,
no, but the guy who was interviewing him was the token black guy on the show. I forget what they do.
Van Lathan. It wasn't an interview though. He was talking like to the whole crew. I mean, I wouldn't say that he behaves different with black media, white media.
I've heard rumors that when he goes to like white world, he's a little bit more reserved.
Like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, but
exactly. So that's the point I was trying to get at.
Because
and what do you think about that?
We seen him blow up in white world, and it really, really didn't work out for his favor. He was righteous. Remember the whole George Bush doesn't care about black people? I mean, he did that on the white media.
But that does work, though. He dropped an album a week later. Like, that's on purpose. This nigga's nuts, nigga. He's like a Kim K. Like, they deserve each other.
Yeah, but I mean, the masses like his
So,
art, his art.
I really think he meant that though when he said George Bush don't care about black
Yeah,
people.
Man. I think by now we realize that this thing is trolling us, man. A lot of it is just kind of like part of the gimmick.
I wouldn't doubt neither. But then you had that incident, and then you had the other incident he had when he blew up on the thing on the MTV Awards. You know what I mean?
And he dropped an album like a month, like 2 weeks later. Like he always, every time he blows up, he drops an album.
He did an album that year.
This is true. This is true.
So saying all that, would you support his politics? I mean, would you support his music? And you know what I mean, because of like
man, because the music for me doesn't really have to do with the politics. Just fucking, I didn't buy the music for your political opinion. I buy you for give me some hot music.
Yeah.
But Mike, are you concerned that what you're buying is giving him the money to be able to be where he's at, so that he can say what he's saying?
Kanye's bigger now. He's in fashion.
Like that part doesn't bother me
at this point.
If I can say anything, I'll just say it feels slimy, but I'm gonna rock. Can't tell me nothing whenever the fuck.
Yeah, I have no problem listening to Kanye or listening to
I have no problem with that.
Ice Cube.
It's slimy.
To fucking 50.
You can't stop. Let's be honest. We can't. We listen to Michael Jackson all the time.
But I separate it from listening to
Michael Jackson.
Listening to
I don't watch the Bill Cosby show. I mean, I never cared. I love watching
Bill Cosby. I
think I've seen every episode of the Cosby
That's different. To me, that's different. Politics and sexual assault and rape are very different things.
Yeah, that's
and
very
I'm not going to support those guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not going to put them in the same boat as some guys that just have a different political opinion from myself.
Yeah.
But Kelvin, let me ask you a question on top of that, Kelvin. Kelvin, let me ask you a question on top of that. You have this guy, Kanye West. He never assaulted anyone that we know of. But he's supporting a man who is okay with and has himself sexually assaulted people, women specifically. I'll grab him by the pussy. He actually said that.
Alleged.
Excuse me.
He's not convicted. We got to hold everybody accountable. That, if he's not convicted, he's not convicted.
So give me a second.
Hold up, because the question was to me, and I'm agree with Mike here. It's alleged.
Look at Kelvin. He's like, hold on, it's my turn to talk.
Nah, because you asked the question to me. That's why. So I'm gonna agree with Mike here on the alleged stuff, only because this is also what I go off of because I still listen to Michael Jackson. And to me, it's alleged until it's proven, right? And that's why I'm gonna stick with that. But then that's why.
So let me rephrase the question.
Different for me, it's different.
No, you can't do that, Luke.
And Cosby.
Also, if you have a Diamond album, you know.
Let me rephrase the question. Let's suppose. No. I'm all about Kanye right now. Let's suppose that there was a president in office who actually had been convicted of sexual assault. And you had this guy, Kanye, or any other artist who was like, yeah, that's fine, but I'm still going to support him. At that point, he's indirectly supporting sexual violence or something. Are you still going to be okay with that? With supporting that artist?
No.
Who's supporting?
Well, he would be impeached.
No,
but
I'm speaking theoreticals here. Of course, he would be impeached, but I'm just saying. Let's suppose all the other things considered, he is a president who's in office who's actually been convicted of this crime, or not even a president. Your next door neighbor. Your next door neighbor gets convicted of a crime of sexual assault, and you have a friend who's going over to his barbecue. Are you fucking with that friend? No. Or are you like, nah, I'm not fucking with either of you?
No. Even that's difficult, right? It's easier. It's easier if it's just a friend, but then when you put Kanye down, like, fuck, that's rough.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. With that being said, and I'll ask anybody: do you guys, being the fact that we're against abuse amongst women, do you guys still listen to Big Pun?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Good question.
Knowing what he did to his wife.
I stopped listening to Pun.
You stopped listening to Pun?
I stopped listeing to Pun after I saw that documentary not too long ago. I stopped listening to him.
Well, he died young, so he got his. So I mean, you can't.
What about Dr. Dre?
What, Drake?
Oh yeah, Drake.
Dr. Dre.
With the
Fucked up thing.
Dr. Dre.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like Dr. Dre has like a pathological problem. Like that's the difference here. Like these
but he
niggas.
was beating girls. All his girls that he dealt with, he kind of like whoop ass.
Yeah, he did.
I only know about one incident. So I don't know. With Big Pun, it was a legit problem.
Right quick. Can I have the floor right quick?
No.
Sure.
You can have the floor.
Like, can I have the floor? Okay. So why is Joe Budden lose top rapper if he's for beating women as well?
Beat the shit out of fucking Tahiri.
Oh, no. Hell no. La Dominicana, ¿cómo que se llama? Tahiri. She aired that out clear.
Dominicana. I say.
Is it true?
Allegedly.
I don't know much about that.
Allegedly, but you know what? I can't defend Tahiri like that because we all saw that show where she hit that guy with the apple, and she just kept berating that nigga.
I mean,
yo, she like slapped the shit out of that nigga and hit him with an apple.
No, but
I don't know. Look, man. Look, I'm not.
Damn, never mind.
Look, go ahead, Peter. What's up, Peter?
My deal is.
if you hit him first, actually, hold on.
I'm like I fuck with you personally, so I'm, you know what I mean. Like I'm not gonna dive into who you fuck with, and like I don't know. My dealing is with that person
you're fucking with is okay with somebody raping somebody.
Oh,
that's really the question.
Rape is, come on, man. That's a whole different story. That's a like
rape,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's like we can't put. I'm not gonna compare a rape to somebody's political thoughts. That's like me comparing a murderer to a nigga who fucking like got in trouble because he like, sold like a dime bag. I'm time at the same time.
And then it's like Joshua said too.
Like my boy's boy beats women. I mean, my boy is my boy. I'm probably telling him like, yo, bro, if your boy is beating women, you should tell him to chill. But I'm not gonna stop being boys with my boy because his boy beats women. Like, I'm obviously I'm not okay with it.
How many boys,
you know what I mean?
Sexually assault.
I thought you were gonna drop an album right there with that verse.
Yo,
Peter.
bro.
My boy's boy beats women.
Peter, but how about that? Then what if your boy sexually assaults your boy's boy sexually assaults women or rapes women?
Yeah, I mean, like, what the fuck am I?
Like the case we got in Trent.
So then that's the thing. We got to separate. We can't bunch up sexual assault, and rape into one. Right.
And you know what?
Actually,
now that you're saying it,
we can lie about sex. I mean, about getting hit, and there's toxic women who we all seen them in the streets.
Now hold on a second. Wait. We're mixing up conversations. Sexual assault is one thing. Rape is one thing.
Yes.
Physical violence is another thing. Women lying is another thing. And a woman lying is never going to be a justification for anything. So I just want to make sure we don't mix in, because she lies about this.
No.
I'm not saying that that's what you did. I just want to make sure that this conversation, if we're going to talk about this or that we're not mixing up.
No. I think what KC was trying to say is that when it comes to assault specifically, not sexual assault, when it comes to assault like battery, shit like that, right? A fight. It's hard unless there's evidence to show, whether it be, I mean, at that point it fucking pretty much has to be video, because if not, it's just one person's word against another's, to see who instigated it, right? So we can't just be like, oh, this person assaults women, without it being
but I'm asking you in the theoretical world that I'm creating, it's been proven that this person does this. I'm not going on, but what if? I'm saying, that person has been charged with, there's proof of, he beat this woman, sexually assaulted this woman, or in another case, raped a woman.
Okay, but those are three different things, Brutus, right? But
either way, I understand what he's saying.
All three together.
Right. No. But either way, I understand what he's saying. Like,
I got it. No. I know.
To an extent, I'll just leave it at this. To an extent, you can separate the art to the artist. Can we say that or no? To an extent,
I'm not separating when it comes to sexual assault and rape. I'm not.
Not continuing. Like, for example, let's say obviously we're not going to watch Bill Cosby moving forward.
Look,
it depends the gravity of what we're talking about. It's like they're lumping, for example, Louis C.K. with those guys. Louis C.K. had a kink or whatever he was into. They would jerk off in front of people, but he would ask for permission. For example, right? That's a perfect example there. I'm still fucking with Louis C.K. moving forward.
I mean,
I think what's important.
I'm not gonna stop fucking with you.
Right. Right. I mean, I fuck with Louis C.K. I mean, I think the bigger thing is that we all like flawed, right? And we're all hypocrites, right? I believe that Michael Jackson fucked around with those boys, right? I believe that shit. He had boyfriends right in front of us. He was holding hands with teenage boys right in front of us. Like, he wasn't even hiding it. But I listened to Thriller yesterday with my kid. Like, what do you want me to do, nigga? Like, I'm gonna listen to Thriller, nigga.
El más berraco.
I know what you're thinking. Where can I find more? For full episodes of the Ruckus Podcast, you can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and your other digital streaming services. The Ruckus. It's organized chaos.